Okay, so I watched game 2 between the Lakers and the Timberwolves, and I have to admit something I rarely say. LeBron James actually played defense. Oh, really? Like actual movement, hustle. He closed out. He got in passing lanes and stuff. He got some steals that way. He didn't point fingers at anyone the whole game. It was almost like 2016 LeBron possessed him for a night. But before Lakers fans get all excited, let's slow down a little bit, okay? Yes, he showed up. The real question is, can he do this every night? Because from what we've seen over the past few years, I'm not convinced. Let's talk about what happened that changed in game 2. And whatever or not, this version of LeBron is just a teaser or a full-time film. Let's break this down. But first, welcome. My name is Paul, and this is The Basketball Show, where I talk today's NBA, current events, news, players, and more. All completely unbiased, even though some people disagree, because any opposing opinion to weak people is always hating. Truth is truth, and I try to stand by that. Now, LeBron had 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists in Game 2. But what really caught people's attention was his defense. Doesn't that just say a lot by itself? He was active on ball. He rotated. He slid his feet. He communicated. For once, he wasn't standing in the paint with his hands on his hips, yelling at Austin Reeves for not covering the guy LeBron was supposed to be guarding. That alone deserves a mini round of applause. Even Kendrick Perkins was hyping him up, calling it a defensive masterclass. And yeah, for one night, kind of was for LeBron. But that's the thing about LeBron right now. We don't question what he can do. We question whether he's willing to do it, or even physically able to do it, every game at 40 years old. Now, let's be honest, this isn't normal anymore. Look, we've seen the clips. LeBron watching cutters go by like a Netflix show. LeBron jogging back on defense while pointing at someone else to rotate. LeBron flailing his arms after a made basket by the opposite team, usually his fault, and staring down his teammates like they just let the team down. That's been the norm the last few seasons. Not just once or twice, but constantly. People have been calling it out, posting compilations of it on YouTube. So when we get a game like this, where he suddenly goes into Miami Heat LeBron mode and plays actual defense, it catches everybody off guard. Even the announcers were in shock, which speaks for itself as well. They were screaming, "Whoa, LeBron with a deflection. Active hands from the king." Yeah, because usually his hands are flailing at the ref, not at the ball, or he's begging on his knees for a damn call. Why he showed up in Game 2? Now, let's be real. He didn't do this out of the blue. There was urgency. Game 1, Minnesota made the Lakers look slow, old, soft. LeBron heard the noise. He's not stupid. He knows if they go down 0-2, the internet would cook him. So in Game 2, he came out focused, locked in, and ready to prove he still got that I'm him energy, at least for a night. But here's the problem. It took that level of embarrassment to get his version of LeBron. He's no longer wired to bring this effort every night, because physically he can't. And mentally, he knows it's not sustainable. He's pacing himself. Can he sustain this for a whole playoff run? That's the million-dollar question. The question in my mind is also if their whole playoff run will end with a loss to the Wolves. Can LeBron actually play high effort, high IQ, engaged defense for an entire playoff run, especially against young, fast, athletic teams like Minnesota, OKC, Denver in the future? At 40 with 22 seasons on his legs, after carrying the Lakers for the past few years, my mistake. Anthony Davis carried the Lakers last few years. defending, rebounding, and scoring. That was mainly AD. Look, I'm not saying LeBron is washed. He's still a top 10 player in the NBA, maybe. Still putting up good numbers, no question. But that version of LeBron we saw in Game 2, the one diving into closeouts, chasing over screens, getting low in the stance, that guy doesn't exist 4 games in a row anymore. He's a special appearance kind of guy. You bring him out in a must-win, Game 5 situation, not every night. And honestly, that's okay. But Lakers fans better not start thinking this is normal LeBron now. Because it's not. It's the exception. What happens if that version doesn't show up again? Now, if LeBron goes back to floating on defense and putting up big numbers without stopping anyone, the Lakers are in trouble. Because they need his defense desperately. This team doesn't have prime AD for 48 minutes anymore. Reeves can't do it either. Luka is not a defender. And the Western Conference isn't waiting for LeBron to catch his breath. If the Lakers want to get past the Timberwolves, then possibly Warriors or Denver or OKC later, they need this Game 2 LeBron every other night. That's the truth. Now, my take is this. Yes, LeBron showed up on defense in Game 2. And yes, it made a huge difference for the Lakers. But don't let one game fool you into thinking that's who he is every night now. LeBron can still defend, but he won't every night. And at this stage of his career, that's kind of understandable. But it's also a liability for the Lakers. Yes, on some occasions, LeBron James has become a liability for the Lakers. So while people like Kendrick Perkins are out there calling his defensive masterclass, I'm just sitting here thinking, yeah, cool, great game. But let's see it again. And again. And again. If he really wants to prove he's still elite on both ends, he's got to show it, not just talk it. Till then, I'm not convinced. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think LeBron can keep up this level of defensive energy all playoff long? Or was Game 2 just a one-night reminder of what he used to be? Now hit like if you enjoyed the honesty. Subscribe for more unfiltered NBA takes. And if you really want to support the grind, consider becoming a channel member. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.